All right, hey everybody, this is Pastor Jason and Pastor Ed here, Red Couch Impact University. We're back on.
We're back. Last week, I think you got, or 2 weeks ago, you talked about grace.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yep, Lock Tucker was with us. You guys remember that? And we were talking about grace, and we started to talk about, what grace was. And we found in the Bible that grace is unmerited favor, and that we're saved by grace through faith. So through our faith in grace, that's what gets us saved, and how grace is unmerited, no strings attached.
Unmerited. What do you mean unmerited? Unpack that just a little bit.
Unmerited literally means it can't be earned. It's not deserved. It can't be earned. There's nothing that I can do to earn it. There's nothing that I can do to lose it. It's just free. No strings attached, completely free.
And something you said there I think is extremely important. With being unmerited, yes, you can't earn it. But if you can't earn it, there's nothing you can do to disqualify from it.
Yep, that's right.
I mean, it's so cool how that is. I mean, it's just, a lot of times we think about, we talked about this one time before where, you get saved and it's like all that grace is there to cover and take care of everything you did before you got saved. But now that you're saved, now we have to live according to this law we couldn't live according to. Right. Now we have to be perfect. Now we have to qualify for God's righteousness and all the benefits of being a Christian. Now we have to live up to this standard that we still were never designed to live up to.
Yeah. It's in the church world, I think that the grace message over the years has become such a touchy subject. And the reason why, though, is because it's powerful. And, of course, the enemy is going to attack anything that's going to change people's lives for the glory of God. And so that's why we're talking about grace and what it is. And so we're going to unpack that a little bit more. And we're going to talk about grace is almost like two sides of a coin. There's almost two sides of grace. There's the saving grace, and then there's this other side I'm going to let you talk about in a little bit, but the saving grace, kind of what we talked about last time, is it's unmerited favor, get bought to us or bought for us by Jesus, and we can't earn it. And Jesus purchased it. It's grace. It's this free gift. I am saved and forgiven because of what Jesus did on the cross for me, not for what I did on the cross for me or for what I've done in my life or the 10 Commandments that I've kept, but it's for what Jesus has done for me. I'm forgiven. Right. I'm righteous. For everyone who puts their faith in Jesus, that's who they are. We are the righteousness of God in Christ Jesus, and it's a free gift, no strings attached. Man, that's grace.
And I think it's important to think about on that first side of the coin you mentioned, where that grace is unmerited, but it's that forgiving side of grace, that loving side of grace. And a lot of times when it's taught in such a radical way that people get very uncomfortable. People are like, oh my gosh, you're giving people a license to sin. You're telling people it's okay to live any kind of way they want to. And that's not what we're saying at all. Yes, I do believe there is that radical side of grace that we can't even comprehend as mere human.
Right.
However, God's just that good and that loving to us that through Jesus, He took care of everything.
Yeah.
To where,
everything.
To where in the Old Testament, if someone came in contact with the holiness of God, if there was any imperfection found in them at all, dead. They just, immediately. Because righteousness and unrighteousness just don't mix.
Can't mix.
However, when the veil was torn and the presence of God spilled out into the people, the holiness of God spilled out, even the people who did not believe, they still were able to live.
Right.
They didn't die. And so that tells me that God did something through Jesus in humanity that was so radical, so beyond anything that the world has ever seen, that now even people who weren't believers and followers of Christ were somehow brought into justice or somehow brought into reconciliation with God to where they could commune with God like they couldn't before.
Right.
And that's that radical part of grace that gets people feeling a little nervous.
Yeah, but see, it's this, you don't have to meet God in a holy place anymore. You can meet God anywhere. That's the
right.
The purchase of what grace was for us. I don't have to come to church to meet God.
Yeah.
I can meet God when I'm in my car.
That's right.
I can, God never leaves us nor forsakes us when I'm at work. He's everywhere, all the time. And that's for me who believes and for the person who doesn't believe. My mom was telling me a story that she wasn't a believer. They were going through a rough patch in her younger days, when she was growing up. And she was telling me the story. She remembers she was just so desperate. She got on her knees and did the best she could to cry out to God for help, for salvation, for whatever, to help in this situation. And guess what? God intervened. Now, my mom wasn't born again at that time as we know it but she was still able to cry out to God.
Imagine that.
And God was still able to intervene in her life.
You know, and I love stories like that where people who don't really know God per se as we think they should. But even beyond that, and you know, I want to get to a couple other points here, but even beyond that, where we think about, okay, well, yeah, if you make a mistake or you screw up, then that's one thing. Grace is there. God will forgive you for that. But you can't intentionally just go out and sin.
Right.
You know, and I think about the prodigal son, or the story of the prodigal son, when in reality that story is about the father's love.
Right.
It's not about the son, it's about the father.
Right.
And so many times we focus on the son. But one thing I think is interesting about that is he willfully and intentionally went out and he lived in a way that was just completely contrary to what he should have done.
Right.
Completely wrong in all regards. And yet when he came back, his father was quick and immediate to love him, embrace him, put that robe back on him, which was symbolic of that righteousness, put that ring back on his finger, which was symbolic of the authority, and restored him back to his rightful place as a son in that household.
Yeah.
And God does the same thing for us. Even if we, you know, if we were to get sidetracked and go out and do things that we know we shouldn't do, you know, it's not just about taking care of the oops, I messed up, but it's also taking care of those things. Now, it doesn't give us a license to sin.
Right.
You know, one thing we've talked about before, one thing that I say is, you know, I think that grace reveals a person's heart. I've seen people groups and congregations where somebody comes in and talks about grace like this, and immediately people stop coming to church, or they stop tithing, and they stop doing this.
Grace covers me, so I can just do whatever I want.
Yep,
live any way I want.
No more obligation. I don't have to. God still loves me.
Right.
And what it's done is grace has removed the obligation, and their heart's revealed.
Right.
And what truly was in there all along becomes a reality in their life.
Right.
But there's that other side of the coin you mentioned earlier. Grace frees us from the penalty and responsibilities of sin, in the sense that I have to be good and I have to qualify.
Right.
But through that freedom, it empowers us
to be free.
To be free.
To live free.
To live holy.
Yeah.
You know, the Bible still says to be holy as God is holy. And I think that it takes that grace. It takes the ability of God. You know, yes, it frees us from sin, but it empowers us to live holy at the same time.
But if you even look at it in that perspective, you know, holy, you know, I heard a guy say one time, holy is another word for wholeness. And sin is, when sin is in my life, I'm broken. I'm in pieces. So, you know, holy or wholeness is produced because of grace. We're free from the thing that's broken us, but now we're free to live free from the stuff that's broken us.
That's good.
And with that premise, what the real message of grace preached, when that's preached, it motivates me to want to live holy.
That's right.
I don't have to come to church. I want to. I don't have to, you know, pay my tithes or serve or do any of that or read my Bible. I get to do it. I've been set free to do those things.
Because of relationship.
Because of relationship.
Oh my gosh, I don't want to stop. I want to keep going.
I know.
But we got to stop. We got to cut it off right here. Please, please, please watch this. Leave your comments in the thread below. Let us know what you think. We've got more to talk about on this grace topic. We're not going to leave here just yet. I feel like God's really wanting to kind of bring some things out for us to talk about some stuff.
I think so.
Time just, it doesn't allow. We want to keep it short for you guys, but please watch. Don't forget Impact University. We're registering for fall classes right now, impactuniv.com. We've got our returning students and interns. Get your vacations done and over so you can get back and get to work. We love you guys. We miss you. So yeah, anything else?
No, we'll just tune in next time. We'll continue this message, and please comment. And you know, if you have any questions or anything to add to the conversation, type it out.
Share it. We love you guys. Thank you for tuning in, watching us. We love you guys. We'll see you next time.
See ya.